Welcome to a new video. Have you ever wondered how our lives could change in an instant? Imagine this. You're walking down the street, taking in a deep breath of fresh air, and suddenly, oxygen disappears completely for 5 seconds. What would happen? How would it affect our lives, the environment, and the entire planet? In this video, we'll explore what happens if oxygen vanishes for a short period. Just 5 seconds, yet enough to threaten life on Earth. Are we prepared for such a catastrophe? Let's find out now. Get ready for a journey filled with astonishing scientific facts. What will happen to humans? Let's start with humans. The human body completely relies on oxygen. When we breathe, oxygen is absorbed in the lungs and carried into the bloodstream, reaching every part of the body. But if oxygen disappears for just 5 seconds, the result would be catastrophic. The first thing to happen is that the brain, which needs oxygen to function, will immediately begin to suffer. Within seconds, you'll feel dizzy and fatigued. And ultimately, if the condition persists, you'll lose consciousness almost instantly. Yes, oxygen is the lifeline of our bodies. Without it, the body becomes completely incapable of performing basic functions. Additionally, oxygen plays a crucial role in all vital body functions. In the first moments of oxygen depletion, the brain starts sending warning signals such as dizziness and nausea. If the shortage lasts more than a few seconds, the brain will begin losing its ability to process and focus, potentially leading to rapid unconsciousness. You may now be wondering, what if this continues for longer? That's where things get even more dangerous. What will happen to the environment and buildings? But what about the environment around us? Oxygen doesn't just affect living beings. It's also a fundamental element in many materials we use daily. For example, concrete. This essential component in skyscrapers and large buildings relies on oxygen in its composition. If oxygen were to vanish, the chemical bonds that make concrete strong would instantly break down, leading to sudden collapses of massive structures. Even more alarming, our atmosphere, which contains a significant amount of oxygen, would undergo catastrophic changes. These changes would impact everything around us. Within moments, the ozone layer, which protects Earth from harmful radiation, would begin to disintegrate. This means we would be exposed to direct solar rays, causing severe burns and harming human health and wildlife. The Earth itself would react to this shift, making our planet look as if it's undergoing a chemical invasion. What about fires and explosions? Oxygen is essential for combustion, and any fire needs it to stay alive. Imagine if oxygen suddenly disappeared. Every fire would be extinguished immediately, not just in forests, but also in homes. All engines that rely on internal combustion, such as cars and airplanes, would stop working, leading to planes falling from the sky and traffic grinding to a halt. You're on a plane, looking out the window, and suddenly, all engines stop. The plane loses power due to the absence of oxygen in the engines. This scenario might seem like something out of a movie, but without oxygen, everything comes to a standstill. What will happen to blood in the body? When oxygen disappears, the brain and all parts of the body struggle to function properly. Hemoglobin, which helps transport oxygen in the blood, would become useless. This could lead to oxygen deficiency in all tissues. The body would start shutting down gradually. People might faint within seconds, and panic would spread everywhere. Just 5 seconds without oxygen could be enough to cause severe biological distress. What about space in the future? From space, Earth would look like a completely different planet. Without oxygen, our planet would appear lifeless. This means that everything on Earth, from the atmosphere to life itself, would be fundamentally altered. But what about the future? Technology might evolve to compensate for oxygen loss. But for now, Earth remains desperately dependent on this essential element. Fortunately, this hasn't happened. But scenarios like these remind us of how vital oxygen is to our survival. If you find this topic intriguing, there are even more questions that need answers. How could we live without oxygen? And how would this impact our future? And now, let's move on to the next big question. What would happen if water disappeared from Earth? That's the topic of our next video, so don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for the exciting answer.